viewers, greetings and welcome to this episode of Leadership Matters, a video series highlighting the stories and experiences of global leaders and providing leadership advice. The series is hosted by Avinash Ananda, a recognized leadership advisor, happiness strategist, and a motivational keynote speaker. Over the course of more than 30 years, Avinash has personally mentored more than 1,000 leaders and trainers and trained more than 1 million individuals from all walks of life in 30 countries. Our special guest for today's episode is Albert Fernando, co founder and CEO TravelWings.com. Albert is a profound leader of the travel industry. From a very young age, he has been passionate about technologies and the travel industry, which made him curious about the profession and led him to understand the industry from its grassroots. He started his professional journey in the travel industry at the age of 17 and was blessed with opportunities to work in multiple airlines, retail counters, corporate travel, yield management, sales, commercial, and operations. Prior to TravelWings, he has been the COO of TopTravelTrip.com and was instrumental in managing the overall online B2B business of the company.
Welcome, viewers, to yet another episode of Leadership Matters. And today we have a powerful leader. You're going to love listening to him. I had a great 5-minute conversation with him just before the recording started. Albert is with us today. So happy to have you here, Albert. Albert, I'm in Pune right now. You're in Dubai. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Albert. So we're gonna listen to Albert and understand his life story and derive some life and leadership lessons from Albert. Albert, please, the floor is yours. What would you like to speak about? You're a travel man, is that correct? All your life you've been in the travel industry.
I will always remain in the travel industry.
What made you get into the travel industry? I understand you started when you were 16 or 17 years old, and you were with Dinata. Is that correct?
Yes, I used to be for 14 years with them initially.
Wow.
Yes.
How did that happen? How did you get into the travel industry?
Well, that was passion for me. Since my age of 12, I always liked tech, and I always liked to do something in travel. So planned for it. After finishing my high school in Dubai, decided to work in the travel business because I wanted to learn the travel business first before you could do innovation. Learned a couple of things, still learning, in fact. I mean, that's a never ending process, isn't it? And when I knew that I was ready, then I was blessed with the opportunity of starting, taking Donata online, in fact. And then after that, I want to take something international. When I wanted to go international, I left and I co-founded another company with a couple of veterans across the world who have started global online travel companies. Learned a lot from there, but we failed. We failed, and you learn from that as well. And as you go through the journey, you realize what is required. So every day you go into a new market, you still keep on learning. We try, but we try to take logical steps and we go forward. And yes, it's been a fantastic journey. Started Travel Wings in 2016. That's when we went live. From there, we grew over 3-4 countries initially, and then that was stagnant because we were trying to mature those markets. And that's when we went into 5 countries, the pandemic struck, and then we realized what to do. I think it was a fantastic journey then because we grew into 32 countries now, in which 15 countries were launched during the pandemic. That's what we did.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So many questions come to my mind, Albert, just by your saying all of these things. First of all, let me deconstruct it a little bit. First of all, you said you got into the organization Dinata, into travel. You said I've always been in travel, always will be in travel. Huh? So that's lesson number one, guys. When you choose your field, you stick to it. There is no success other than someone choosing something and sticking to it, loving it, and excelling at that one field, consistently over time. Brilliant. That's one lesson. Second one, Albert, you said is, I love that. You pioneered or you innovated when you worked with Dinata for 14 years. You took them online. But you said something very interesting. You said you cannot innovate unless you first learn. What a powerful lesson. You cannot jump
Absolutely.
into innovate or create some, which means you have to follow the rules before you can break the rules and make new rules. Is that correct, Albert?
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
So,
This is the
one
second
thing
thing
I
that came
believe
out.
in,
Yeah,
yeah, so one thing I believe in just on that point is that if you have to really take it to the next level, and I tell it to all the youngsters across the world,
yeah,
you can learn the success stories of others, but how do you create a new benchmark? Don't follow everybody's benchmark. Then how do you
right,
evolve? How does the world evolve? So you
right,
learn what has been successful and
yeah.
try to create new benchmarks where you really elevate the whole segment of whichever line of business you are in. I mean, that's what I believe in.
Brilliant, brilliant. Huh? So learn the basics and then you create your own thing. Huh? Super, super. What a powerful lesson. The third thing that came out, Albert, from what you said, and then it's like live and raw as you like it, right? So tell me what comes to your mind. A third thing that came out is this: that you said you failed a few times before you hit it big. Huh? So which means that failure, you believe, is it an inevitable uh, part of the process of success?
I think what I believe is if there's no failures, there's no success. You have to.
Very
Uh,
nice.
right from, I mean, that's how God has made human beings. So when a child starts running, if he doesn't fall, he doesn't get better.
Sure,
So every single thing, not just in business, anything in life, right? You have to feel the pain before you get it done. Even
sure.
nature is such. Mother has to go through pain before giving a beautiful child.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
so that's the theory of life. That's how I believe it.
Beautiful, beautiful. There is no failure, there is no success, there is only results. Either the results are what you want or the results are what you don't want. If it is what you don't want, you change course and work towards it until you get what you want. And there is
Yeah,
no gain without pain. So no pain, no gain. Huh?
yeah, absolutely.
Powerful lessons.
And
Guys, we already got 4 or 5 very, very powerful lessons. Okay. Go ahead, Albert. Go ahead. Albert, I have a question. You said if I remember correctly, you had mentioned to me earlier, you were a very good student academically, and you said you were a techie even in your mind as a kid. Uh,
yeah,
but at the same time, you didn't pursue your further studies after high school, and your mother was a headmistress. Is that correct?
yes, she was.
How did she take this? I mean, why is this brilliant boy academically not going and doing further education? How did you manage that part?
I didn't have to manage it. My mother herself was a leader,
Wow,
so
what
she knew
happened?
what it
Tell us,
was.
please. What did she
I
say?
mean, I just gave my vision in terms of what I want to do, and she accepted it. She said, "You make sense. Go ahead."
How old were you at that time?
16.
Amazing, amazing. That says volumes about you at that age and your mother's maturity and wisdom. Huh? Super. Amazing. Then what I'm so tell me one more thing, please, about the nature of your business. You say you have an online travel company, and you say you're in 32 countries, is what you mentioned earlier, if I got the number right. Huh?
Absolutely.
But online means not 32 countries, right? Online means all over the world. So how is it a big deal about having in 32 countries? Could you explain that part, please? What do you
So,
mean by
so,
being in
so
32
basically,
countries?
so basically, being online means being online across the whole world, as I rightly
Sure.
mentioned. But being online to a specific market. So let's talk about the e-commerce world. Let me talk about travel. Let me not talk about travel business. Let's talk about, for example, the e-commerce world. Let's talk about Flipkart. Now, Flipkart is basically in India, right? So you have a lot of things marketed for those personas. Everything is local. So similarly with Travel Wings, when we launched in 32 countries, it's about local content, local pricing, local call center numbers. You can touch and feel Travel Wings in those countries. There's somebody to support you around the place. And more importantly, local payment solutions. So everything is local. Otherwise, globally, anybody can buy from us, but we're talking about locally becoming a brand in those 32 point of sales. But also, if I may say, when I started travelwings.com, the first thing I did was I bought over the domain of Travelwings across 145 countries. So,
Wow.
God wills, in another 10 years, we would be in 145 countries.
So the vision was clear right from the start.
Yes. I think the vision is not about going into 145 countries. I think it's about creating a legacy. So if you ask me what is the way forward, it's not about how much of money is getting in your bank account. It's about what you want to create a legacy in your life, right? So if you just focus on that end goal, but that should be the end goal, not the end, not the goal in between, not the commodities that come in between. It's about that end goal. And if you just look at that end goal, and if you work passionately, and if you don't hurt anyone, I think things would follow.
Super, super. So, what are some of your values, Albert? One of the values is not to hurt people. Another value is to create value and leave a legacy. When you say leave a legacy, I see in that the value of contribution. Okay?
Yes.
I also see the dreaming big as possibly one of the values. Not thinking small, but thinking big. No? And being inclusive. So all of these things I get. But are there any other values that you have that you hold dear to you?
So, as I mentioned, we're mostly launching in emerging markets because one thing I strongly believe in, there are many successful companies in this space in the West, in all these countries, and I have no plans of competing with them because I don't want to burn everything off. And what are we trying to do, right? We're just trying to break somebody's market, but that's not the objective. I think the objective here is about how do you create well, opportunities in emerging markets?
Mm.
How can you create job opportunities? How can you make people smile, feed their families? And that's what you do. Otherwise, if you basically go to another country where you have probably more than 100 OTAs, you're basically poaching people from other companies and you're not creating any values there. But here, you're creating a new opportunity and you're trying to create new kind of professions across the country. So I think
Give me
that's
an
the vision.
example. Give me an example, please, of some countries where you've done this successfully.
So we have been educating people to get into the online space. There are not much of personas available in the online space who know the knowledge there.
Sure.
But if I may give an example in terms of what we have done throughout the years, yeah, we were blessed of feeding a lot of children. Yeah, we did that. We did that across. Even this year, we were blessed as Travel Wings. We probably fed around a couple of thousand children across Nigeria, across Ghana, a couple of other African countries, and we have taken people on board. We have taught them, and I think we are slightly transforming them into e-commerce professionals. So
Mhm.
it takes time, but I think somebody has to do that start. Otherwise, you can't expect anybody to have that knowledge from day one because you don't have those opportunities at this moment in
Sure,
time.
sure. So there must be a lot of other challenges because if you're getting into emerging markets where they're not used to online buying of tickets or doing the travel business online, it's changing the entire mindset of the population. Also training the people to be professionals in this new field. There might be a lot of other regulatory issues also, legal and otherwise. Because you're almost starting a new kind of business in a country which has never seen that before. Is
Yeah.
that challenging?
So challenges are quite, but very innovative and quite interesting, right? So the biggest challenge for any kind of online travel company to penetrate into Africa is credit card penetration. Online means credit card or mobile payments, right? That's what it's all about.
Well, they pay cash, huh?
And if you look at Pan African countries, your credit card penetration all over is probably less than 2.5%.
Wow.
Yeah, but so let me give an example of one of the innovations we did in Morocco when we launched. Right, a lot of travelers, but hard cash business. How to run an online travel company there? Right, you can create 1,000 offices with logistics for people to collect cash, and they don't believe in going and putting in the bank account. They believe in pure cash. So we connected with probably a couple of exchange houses. Today, with that infrastructure, we have more than 5,500 uh, locations where customers can book online, go pay cash offline, and get their tickets into their phones. So, similarly, we have basically transformed every single country is a different segment altogether. In fact, we are going live probably 75 banks on online net banking across Pan Africa. And because of all this, I think we were blessed. We probably one of those only OTAs who have gone live with Google Flights across multiple countries in Pan Africa as well, because Google believed in what we do, and that partnership is also going strong. So we are there to create a differentiator. It's fun to see how can you transform or make something out of what you have, rather than saying that that is never a best moment in life, right? So only if I have these ingredients, I can bake the cake. I think that's losing opportunity. Let's make a cake with what we have, and probably that'll be new innovation.
Brilliant. Quick questions, Albert, just for the fun of it, like a rapid fire, right? Luck or effort?
I would say grace and effort.
Does one affect the other?
I think both go hand in hand. You have to have faith first in what you're doing, and then you put your efforts on that faith, and that's what makes it happen.
Brilliant. Leadership style, soft or hard, which means aggressive or more fear-based or love-based?
It should never be fear-based. Can it be aggressive? Yes, it should be aggressive at times. But I think it's about giving them the confidence. Saying, go jump in the ocean, I'm there behind you. Do it. Okay. Not everything will be successful. But one thing that we always talk internally within the leadership team is that, guys, as long as our steps are logical, let's go ahead and try. We cannot be 100% successful in every step we take, otherwise, we are gods. And so we say that, only one caveat we say that, let it be a logical step. We take care of 10 different aspects and say that 80% logic, 20% gut. Let's go ahead and do it. If we fail, let's find a plan B. But even if you fail, it's not going to create a big dent because you were 80% logical in terms of how you approached it. So there might be a small scratch here and there, but that's the wound you have to take through the journey, right? So what I believe is give them the confidence that you're there. Do what you have to do. You take your decisions. Let me not take those decisions for you. I can give you directions, say go right, go left, better don't do this, better don't do this. But sometimes if it's not being materializing, then sometimes you have to go aggressive and say, no, let's do it this way. You take the honors on me and go ahead. So it's 80% of teamwork, and sometimes 20% you have to be a dictator.
Tell me more about that. How do you do that? The dictator part.
Okay, so the dictator part is not about saying what you feel is right. If you have facts and figures and statistics, and you are rest assured that this is not going to hit, then you make them understand. And I'm blessed with a leadership team who really understands, and probably they shout at me more than I do at them.
Is that right?
So yeah, that's the way it should be, right? You don't want a yes man. You want a guy who will say, Albert, sorry for my French, but don't bullshit. It doesn't make sense. We have to do it this way, and that's the way forward. And if it's making sense, is it sorry, man? I'm wrong. You're right. Let's do it this way. Yeah, but it can happen the other way around as well. That if you're convicted that fine, this is the right way of going forward, you make the person understand, and then you take them and say, "Come, I'm holding your hands. Walk this way. Let's do it together." I mean, that dictatorship is what I say here.
Super. What role does appreciation play in leadership? Appreciation of people.
So I look at appreciation quite differently.
Appreciation versus criticism. I'm just trying to understand what is your take on that.
Appreciation is important. Okay, so more than appreciating the person on the face, what I believe is telling the world that this happened because of him. I think that's quite important. Telling a person separately in a room saying, "Hey, man, fantastic job here. You've done this, excellent," versus telling the world that, guys, this happened because of him is a very different segment, right? So I believe appreciation in that way. And one thing I strongly believe: never take credit for somebody's work. Give them the 100% credit they have done. So for me, that is appreciation. Criticism is about not criticizing in a very harsh way. I think sometimes you have to be blunt, but it's about giving logical explanations in terms of how this could have been done better. And let's do it this way in the future. Don't you think so it should be done this way? If yes, then let's do it together. And you basically complement that criticism by asking even the team, saying that, where do you think I should improve?
Mm.
Am I giving you the right support? If I'm not, please tell me. Tell me bluntly in the face, Albert, you're good for nothing. I'll be happy to hear that rather than just smiling at me and saying, okay.
Mm. Lovely, lovely. So honesty is a very important thing for you, huh?
Oh, yes, 1000%.
Mm.
If you do not know it, say you do not know it,
Mm.
right? I think that's better. And always, I believe in one more thing is that my wife and my mother, both of them actually support me a lot on this. Is that give whatever you know in terms of knowledge.
Mm.
Just keep on pouring it out, right? You keep on pouring it. It's like when the people in the old books have said, more water you take out from the well, more water comes into the well.
Mm.
So just don't block your brains with the knowledge that you have. Give it out
Mm.
so that a lot of other new things can get into your head.
Yeah. There's a saying, right? In many countries, the same saying is that knowledge is like love. The more you share, the more you get.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Absolutely. This is fantastic. You have kids?
Yeah, two boys.
How old are they?
Well, they are six now. I mean, they'll be turning six next month.
Cool.
But we got
Lovely.
them on.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations. They're twins, right?
they're twins, two boys.
Wow. Wow. Has your life changed after that? Or
It has.
in the travel business, do you travel much or is you just make other people travel?
No, I travel a lot as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go there to feel and breathe the market, right? So what
Right.
I told you about Morocco, for instance, is it happened when I went there in shorts and was walking around the streets for like 2 days thinking what to do. And that's when you realize this is how it should work. So you have to feel and breathe it first. The same
Sure.
concept happened of how I started my travel life as well. I had to feel and breathe travel before I could innovate it. So
Uh-huh.
anything you have to feel and touch it first before you do it.
Sure, sure. That's great. Yeah, I feel you completely because I travel almost every 5 days. I'm in a different country, Earlier it used to be
Wow.
2 or 3 days. So there, it's crazy. Huh? That's great. So, a few things come to my mind, Albert, about everything that you've shared so far. Um, mm, and apart from the lessons that we've already spoken about, which is about fear and about the fact that there's no such thing as failure, about the fact that no pain, no gain, all those things we covered, right? And that you learn before you innovate. Powerful, powerful lessons. I got a few more lessons that come to my mind, and they don't. There's not falling in an acronym right now for me, but they're coming with. There's a rhyming in this. Huh? So there's innovate, navigate, appreciate, negotiate. Okay, this is what I get from you. It's very, very powerful lessons. When I say innovate, throughout your life, Albert, there's been innovation. Whether it is in your crazy decisions when you're 16 years old. When I say crazy, I mean in a positive sense, huh? But I mean in the sense of breakthroughs. Huh? Your life is full of breakthroughs, and you don't accept breakdowns. This is brilliant. Okay, so and this is a great lesson for people who are watching. That to innovate, you just have to do it. And you said something beautiful about innovation. You said 80% logic, 20% gut feel. uh, Because you can never have all the clarity or all the logic when you make decisions. So you should be okay with taking some risk. This is the thing about
Absolutely.
innovation. There is guts involved. Guts is GUTS, genuine urge to succeed.
Absolutely. That's something
Brilliant,
that I've
Albert.
learned to add.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is a great lesson by itself. Second, I saw is navigate. Uh, Navigate, you do is you don't get it easy. Everywhere you go, you have to navigate the system, you have to navigate the current mindsets, you have to navigate the legal system, and you have to work your way through the end. Uh, And whether you work your way through a combination of whether you do it through luck or hard work, you said it beautifully, your faith and your effort have to go hand in hand while you are navigating. Brilliant lesson. So I'm taking all that you said and just weaving it together. Please feel free to add to it if you feel like, because it's all live, There's nothing planned. uh, Third thing is appreciate. I love what you said about appreciate. The best way to appreciate people is to appreciate them in public and appreciate them to others about them. Don't appreciate somebody in private because that person may feel good, but you don't have what it takes to raise them in the eyes of other people because that's what they want. Powerful lesson. Appreciate. You're taking appreciation to another level, Albert, when you share this message. It's very so powerful. And last one I got in mind is negotiate. Although we didn't speak about negotiation, I take this as a great takeaway from you, which can be used because you don't settle. uh, just because somebody says no, when they say no, you either say no means next one, you move on, you know, no, or you say no means they don't know. So I have to explain to them. Okay, but you take it on yourself to get the result. There is an element of persistence with the agency. I've seen that in all of your growth story. That you don't let go easily. You don't take a no for an answer easily. uh, uh,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
you do this with a sense of honesty. You appreciate honesty from others as well as you need to be honest yourself. So when you have two people with integrity in a room, both have to negotiate to arrive at that alignment.
can I slightly rephrase that a bit in terms of
Please,
what my
please,
thought process is?
please,
So
please, please,
for me, it's
please.
about when you think about negotiating, or if somebody says no, and this is not applicable only in business; it's
Yeah,
applicable everywhere.
yeah,
When your wife says no, when your
yeah,
son says no,
yeah, yeah.
instead of saying, "How did he say no to me?" think, "Why did he say no?
Sure, sure,
What's the reason behind it? And
sure.
is there a genuine reason behind it that I have to change my way to make it happen? If not, and if it is a very selfish reason of no, then you know what to do.
Sure.
But if
Got
it's
it.
a genuine reason of no where you can probably change the approach, then trust me, 70% of the time you will change that no to a yes from the same person.
This is what I meant. This is exactly what I sensed about you before you said that, which is why I put that term negotiate. You don't look like a guy who will take no from people. Okay, God bless them, but I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean this in a very positive way. See, you will listen to them, you will understand them, and if there's something that you need to change, you will change it about yourself too. But
Absolutely.
as you said, 70% of the time, God bless them. Uh, their no is going to become yes, because you find a common ground. I'm not talking
Absolutely.
about pushing, I'm talking about a gentle but skillful alignment of each other's needs so that you can move ahead. And they realize that their no came because they don't know.
It has to be a win-win situation. You know,
Sure, sure,
uh,
sure.
I think
Uh,
that's when partnership also grows with any partners. When you do it, why would they do business with me if they're going to lose something? I think it has to be a win-win situation. I think that strengthens the partnership. And if you go with that policy, both the parties on the table will try their maximum to make it happen
do you
rather
sing,
than one.
Albert? Do you sing?
Huh?
Do you sing? You have a nice
Oh,
voice.
yes.
Huh?
I do sing.
Yeah,
I'm a
sounds like
musician,
it.
so I'm a
Say what?
gospel singer. So I'm a gospel
Wow.
singer.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. Would you like to sing something for us? Just to make it a little bit
Not today. Thank
fun.
you.
Okay, super. Your voice is excellent. I'm sure that it can be used, and you must be using it very, very well, both in terms of for singing, of course, but it has a lovely theatrical effect. You know? So
Thank you.
in your communication also, I'm sure it must be having that. It gives you a sense of gravitas, when you use it well. It's a nice baritone.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Lovely talking with you, Albert. Any parting
Pleasure.
words that you'd like to share? Do you like
I
this?
think I'll
This
tell.
innovate, navigate, appreciate, negotiate. You like it?
Oh, I just love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Only one thing I'll say before they could do all these 5 steps, and I think
Yeah.
I did that for myself. And I'm humbled that even my entire teams also have done it for themselves.
Sure.
Know what your strengths are, know what
Sure.
you like, and know what you're good at. And I
Sure.
think that's a very important segment which today's children should really learn. I think it's changing, especially in India, for instance. Parents no more push children of what they feel is important, like a doctor or an engineer. Let the
Yeah.
child be a cook if he's got a flair towards cooking. So I think it's
Absolutely.
very important to identify what you're good at. because we as humans are actually supernatural. We have so much of thinking power that every single human being in the world has.
Yeah,
So if you're able to do something which you like the most and which you uh, find out that you're good at, that's no turning back.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
so so that find yourself first before
Yeah,
you take a decision of what you want to do in life is what I would tell everyone.
beautiful, beautiful. But tell me one thing. A lot of youngsters always, I'm in touch with people, at all levels. So a lot of youngsters always say, what if I don't know? I have not found myself yet. What is the way to find myself? Do I just do what is in front of me and do it well, or do I wait till I find that one thing that I love to do? What is your take on that? Your kids are
You
six
have
yet,
to.
but give your thing for the older ones.
I think it's about thinking about what have I done in the last 10 years in the past. Take multiple incidents of where you excelled in your life. Analyze why you excelled in those points. What made you? I mean, I'm sure every single child would have done something
Sure,
as
sure,
an X factor throughout their journey.
sure.
Go back to history and analyze what you did. Why did I do that well? Then, if you start, and it's all about data science, right? So, you take 10, 15 instances, you will find two, three common denominating factors. And I think
Brilliant.
that is what will give you the answer.
I love that. I love that. Huh? Then you can find what the French called métier. You find your métier, that one thing that you love to do, and then you excel in that. Brilliant. One more question, Albert, since we are going superb. Just one more thing I'll throw at you. What about those people who may have or they think they have missed the boat? First, we went to the little kids, right? Say 16 years old, 15 years old, looking for what they love to do. Let's go 26, let's go 36. Okay? They love to do something. They didn't go through the process. They didn't find an Albert to tell them that, follow your dream. And they have got into what Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, called learned helplessness, which means now they've accepted that the time is gone. My great things that I used to do or I used to be good at, I could not find. Now I'm stuck in this job and I'm doing this thing just because I need to earn a living. So, what would you say about those who think they missed the bus, Albert?
I think for, for me, it's about there's nothing called missing the bus. If
Very
you
nice.
missed a bus, it's a small failure. I would always ask them to think about Mr. Kentucky, who started KFC at the age of 63, 64 or so. You can even
Brilliant.
do it at that age. So there's never something called missing a bus.
Right.
Those are small failures. Keep on trying and just do what you have to do.
Excellent. Huh? So, in Hindi, there's a word called bus. Bus means enough. Huh? So, it is never bus. You never miss the bus. You always get the next bus. And Colonel Sanders is an inspiration. Over 1,000 times he was rejected, no, before somebody bought his idea for franchise. Huh? That's a great
Absolutely.
inspirational story. Thank you, Albert. Thank you for everything you shared. Albert, tell me something. You won an award recently. Your organization also won an award, Travel Wings. Congratulations. What was this award about?
Yeah, so we have got a couple of awards on consumer behavior and consumer satisfaction as travel
Sure.
wings. Today, God's crazy if you think about when you look at us in Trustpilot, you look at us in Google reviews, Facebook, Hello Peter, all of them. I think one thing we're quite different from many other OTAs. While we give good experience on the website, we also give good experience after the funnel ends as well. So we make sure the customer always smiles. One of the main goals of travel wings is to make customers smile. I think that's the most important thing. So we don't think about how much of revenue can I make off from this customer. I think that will automatically follow if we just make him smile. So I
I
think with
love
that
that.
we've got a couple of points of perspective. uh, yeah, there's been a couple of awards that I've got as well in the past. And we're still growing. We're still growing. Yeah.
Congratulations, congratulations. In fact, in my training business that I have all over the world, the mission is to make happiness go viral. So I love it when you spread smiles like that. We want to create a happiness movement. Huh? That's great, Albert. Albert, what is next for you? What is next for you? What is next for your organization? What is the future look like, near future?
It has been looking great. I think last year we grew by almost 500% compared to the previous year.
Wow.
Uh, this year, this year we have plans, and we are expanding into many more new countries. Uh, a lot of expansions happening, a lot of innovations happening on tech. we just launched a new functionality where we are basically disrupting the complete consumer journey on the online space. So, for example, if you talk about the passenger information page, which is the most painful page for any traveler while making a booking online, with travelwings.com, we have algorithms and we have profile management tools where, suppose if Albert Fernando is making a booking on travelwings.com, for me and my family, when I come to the passenger information page, all I see is a beautiful picture of my family. I drag and drop the picture and check out. That's it. So one click. And so we are the only OTA, if I may humbly say, that we are able to complete a transaction of, let's say, 7 to 8 passengers in 11 thumb clicks, right from incepting the app till the thank you page where he sees his e-ticket. So, and the way that we have innovated that is we got our tech testers to run on treadmills, and while running on treadmills, we asked them to make the booking on a small phone, taking into consideration that only 20% of the focus of the human brain focuses on the small screen, 80% has to focus on the body. And if a human being is able to do a transaction with 20% focus, then when he is there, he really feels it easy when he's doing a normal booking. So a lot of such innovations are happening across the board. We are trying to create a lot of new concepts which never ever um, existed as such. And we have two major missions, right? So one is expanding into all the emerging markets that we want to jump into. And for the matured markets, create a completely new opportunity of a different concept of how travel can be shopped. And probably we'll be achieving that very soon. And that's definitely possible only because of our teams who are probably more even passionate than what I do.
This is absolutely brilliant. Albert, you made me add two more things. You remember we said innovate, navigate, appreciate, negotiate? We had two more things. One is alleviate. Alleviate is you alleviate the pain of your customers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it simple for them. If you remind me of Steve Jobs when he gave the reportedly when he gave his team the job to create the iPhone, he said make it so simple that a child can use it. You know? I love the fact that you're alleviating challenges in the process of innovating. Brilliant. And the last one I would say is what is it? Oh my God, I lost it. Alleviate and one more. Differentiate. Wow, very nice. If you are in new markets, that itself is a differentiation because they never did this online purchase before of travel. If you're in an existing market, you make it so different with your tech innovations that you're able to differentiate yourself, but you're never like the others. So you differentiate. Brilliant. Fantastic speaking with you, Albert. Was a great pleasure. Enjoyed it.
Definitely same here. Even I did learn a lot from you in terms of putting a couple of things into perspective, and that was an eye opener for me. Thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. Look forward to catching up with you in person in Dubai sometime.
Definitely, please do. Thank you so much.